huge ranch in Scotland and all that stuff. But that night, I left and said, and this story's been told here before probably, that, and I hadn't seen him in forever, and I didn't even know he played the guitar. And, they played Mr. Fantasy, and I said at the end of the night, and Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers just tore the house down, and they were fabulous. And I said at the end of the night, well, for once, Mike Campbell wasn't the best guitarist in the room tonight, and that was Steve Winwood. And he's just still great, and he's a cool guy and down to earth. And my wife follows him on Facebook, and they've actually communicated a couple of times. He's an iconic guy who's probably an under the radar superstar.
Yeah, he was like the other little Stevie, after Stevie Wonder. He came up so young, and you're right. It's really remarkable that he's preserved himself the way he has vocally and otherwise. I've only seen him 3 times, and I just figured this out, that all 3 times he opened for first Petty at Sprint Center, then Santana at Starlight, and then Steely Dan at Starlight. So I've only seen him do a short set, but it was always like, you better be careful.
Right.
He's going to open for you.
Yes.
It's going to be a shorter set, but he's going to get people cranked up, and you better bring it.
Well, I can highly recommend you seek out there's a soundstage concert, which is something MTV, I think, did, or somebody did in the early 2000s. And it's Steve Winwood and a fabulous band from 2002. And it's one of the best things you'll ever see. Traffic stuff, his new stuff, and plays his hits, though, if you like those. And I can highly recommend that. In fact, it makes me want to go watch it again this evening, maybe. And as we...
Well, I was just going to put in a short word about the Doobies. You're right. I don't ever really play them or look them up, but when I've seen them, you fall into that music.
Right.
If there are 7,000, 8,000 people there, it reminds me of high school. That's fine. This is fun live, but if I don't hear this again for 2 years, that's fine. But it was a radio mainstay back then.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, if I went, I know they'd be good. They're fine musicians, and they've been touring for years. People love their songs, and I'm indifferent about them. They're okay, but I know they would be reliably good for sure. And we had a couple of birthdays here on Monday of performers. One certainly with roots to this area, and one with roots deep in my heart. Mark Knopfler turned 75 years old. He has a new album out this year, which is outstanding, and it was his 9th, I believe, solo album, so more albums by far than Dire Straits ever did, and they're all good, they're different, they're quieter, whatever. He's not going to tour anymore, he's announced that, so that's sad, but I saw him 8 times, that's plenty, and so you hear him and me reference that plenty of times, but anyway, happy 75th birthday to Mark Knopfler, who's decided that he's not going to go out there and risk disappointing people anymore, and Pat Metheny, who I saw last year at the Kaufman Center and was out of this world great, and I don't think my wife, it might have been the favorite concert she's ever seen. He had a birthday as well, and he's just a cool guy and has stuck to what he wants to do. And, he had a little taste of sort of entering sort of rock and roll fame a little bit, and then he just said, nah, that's not what I do. I do my own thing. And he's done it for a long time and very well.
Yeah, he turned 70. Native of Lee's Summit. He's won 20 Grammy Awards. So I don't know anyone from around here who's won that many. So
right.
He kind of gets forgotten just because he's in jazz, and you have to want to. I was introduced to him in college, and I have a couple of his records. It is just because of my upbringing. When I put records like that on, they just sort of fade into the background. So I have to sit and listen and appreciate, which you can do live at a live show. So he's one of the greatest musicians to come out of this area. Definitely. There's like full stop. So, and he's 70 and it looks like he'll be doing it for a while.
And you can go see that glorious shock of crazy white hair now that he's had forever and a day. Tim, you got your own good head of hair, so there you go. You got me beat in that regard. You got me beat in a lot of areas, but always a pleasure to be on the mic with you every couple of weeks on Danny and Tim's Music Scene. Another great edition, and thanks, and we'll talk to you again in a couple of weeks.
Sounds good. Thanks, Danny.
We hope you enjoyed the latest Danny Klingscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Come back soon for something fresh and new. This podcast was made possible by our great sponsors like Easton Roofing, where integrity matters. Joe Spiker and his team are the best in the business for all your roofing needs, handled with honesty and craftsmanship. Visit them at eastonroofing.com.